Hey there, Shell Point. It's John High, Academy Manager. Here we are back with Professor Kerr, continuing our talk about the Romans and the ancient history of the city of Rome. And we are in session 3, which is going to be held on January the 20th. Once again, 4:30 to 6 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. So here we are, Professor Kerr, third session where the empire is building. What do we have going on now?
Thank you, John. Yes, well, we've reached that point where Julius Caesar has now been assassinated, and Rome is now having to pick up the pieces, and we start to see the split between those that thought it was a good idea to assassinate him, the conspirators, led by Brutus, of course, and then those that want to punish them and take over control of Rome. And so we see a young nephew of Julius Caesar, at this time called Octavian, who grows to be Augustus Caesar, but this time you wouldn't put any money on him making progress. He has no military experience. He's rather weak. He's only a young man, and so he aligns himself with a strong man who is the person who's fought with Julius Caesar all the way through the Gallic campaign, and the two of them then chase over to Greece to try and catch up with the conspirators. Eventually, battles take place and they're defeated.
Yep.
And then
a lot going on there.
Not going on. So Octavian now and Mark Antony combine themselves to run Rome, and very brutal they are. They punish all the people who don't like their idea. The nobles don't like the idea of having these autocratic rulers, but they are punished, and the money from those estates is used to make them wealthy. The next phase is, of course, the empire is now formed because Augustus, Octavian, who becomes Augustus, realizes that you can't run an empire with a bunch of old men sitting in the Senate covering the area from England down to Iraq. And so he realizes that you've got to have a strong man, somebody who can take action, and he splits up the empire into states which are run by governors, and they have armies. So it's now a very big organization run by the boss in Rome. And so that continues, and we see a number of successor emperors for the next 300 years. At one time, there is Nero is infamous for his exploits, which are often overstated, and he's not as bad as people make him out to be. But after he committed suicide, the empire was thrown up for grabs, and 4 generals fought themselves to a standstill to take over the empire. And Vespasian was the one who won, and his son Titus then now controlled the empire. He was a military commander, and they wanted somebody to stop the Civil War. And then they attacked Jerusalem, because Jerusalem has taken the opportunity during the vacuum of having no emperor to actually stop paying taxes, and the Romans don't like that. So they sack Jerusalem, which is a sad story, and the consequences then follow.
Wow, once again, just a lot going on, and my mind is just continuing to go back to all this history that I once learned, and I'm glad to be reminded of this, and I'm looking forward to these sessions. So is this the same time now where the Colosseum is being built, and we see about these different gladiators and things like that fighting in the Colosseum?
Exactly, yeah. The concept of an arena is common in all the governors' capital cities, but the biggest arena of all was in Rome. And the story was that they knew it was the most expensive building that Rome had ever created, and the largest building. And people were puzzled as to where did the money come from, because Nero had run down the budget and had bankrupted empire by having this huge golden house built.
Okay, that's right.
And so people were curious to say, well, where did the cash come from? And then one day they decided to take down the foundation stone because it's looking like broken, and underneath the foundation stone was the real foundation stone. And then it became realized, the first time in 20 years ago, that the pillaging of the temple in Jerusalem and all the wealth that was taken from that was then converted into cash, and that was the basis for building the Flavian Amphitheater. And people say, the what? And of course it was called the Flavian Amphitheater because the Flavian dynasty was running Rome at that time. So how did it become called the Colosseum? Because Nero's statue was placed right beside this, and it's a giant colossal statue, and people called it the Colosseum, and that's the origin of the Colosseum.
Man, very interesting. Wow. Once again, I would encourage you to sign up for this session. It's going to be held on Monday, January 20th, 4:30 to 6 p.m. Sign up through our concierge desks, and we'll see you there.